a Negro and living in the wrong zip code?
I want to, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Pam. I'm one of Sister Joanne's students' parents. And this is my first meeting, and it's quite interesting. I'm self-employed. I own a couple of preschools. And today when I came to pick my daughter up, she pointed out the board to me and said, "Mama, look at that. What would you do?" And my first response was, "I would leave." And I still, listening to all of you guys, I still hold true to that because I think some of us have this natural instinct of rebellion, if you will, but to a degree, and I'm one of those people that I don't think inside of the box. Everything about me is different. Everybody is going that way, well, I want to know what's on this side because ain't nobody going that way. That's just me. I've been called crazy. I call myself a UFO because I ain't like most people I know. But I would have left. And that brings me to what you were just saying about, what most of you were saying about where we are today. And because I do children and I've done preschoolers for the past 15, 16 years, I want to piggyback off of what you just said about, some of the things that happen in your childhood and being inner city. I deal with, first of all, my center is in Midtown, which is in Cooper Young, which, if you're familiar with that, has, for the last few years I've been there, was majority white. And over the years, it's starting to kind of become a little bit more mixed. So I got a chance to see the difference in their children early and the difference in our children early. And I feel like for me, this, I always knew I had this thing in me about children, but I didn't really understand it until I was blessed to be placed in that environment where I could see both sides of us, human beings, and then the nature of children and what theirs are and what ours are. And the makeup of a lot of what we see, the plantation today, understanding our environment and our community, I get it. And I get it now because I see it early from babies. And a lot of that comes from what we call environmental, which is our communities. Because if we don't put it into our children early, the strengths of who they are, the differences in being different and okay, and understanding that because everybody does it this way, because you are who you are unique, it's okay for you to do it a different way. If we don't start to do that early, our children start to shut down early. And they start to feel defeated early. And if we, the adults, I look at the kids now, and I had a conversation with a lady in the grocery store yesterday, and she was saying, we was looking at these two kids, and she was just saying, those babies, that's so pitiful. And I said, it is, but you got to look at that and say, that's my future. And if my future is pitiful now, what am I going to do? Because one day we are going to be old and feeble, and we are going to be those ones that can't get off the plantation, even if you want to, just physically, because you're not able to. What do you do now to change your future? And I respect what you say, brother, when you say you feel hopeless, but I can't agree with that. And that's because I feel like, I guess because I deal with the children, we can do so much to construct in a creative way those children that the hope that you don't have, the hope that you used to have, or the hope that you remember or saw from somebody else, we can pull that hope and bring that back to life in our babies. And it can be done. I mean, if we teach them, nobody taught me entrepreneurship. It was just a God-given blessing for me. My mama worked in hotels, cleaning rooms. My daddy worked at Scott Appliance, delivering appliances to white people. And I just remembered every evening they came home frustrated, hot, tired. My daddy beat my mama up because he was just mad at the world. And I just remember being that little girl saying, I don't want to be there. I want to do something different. And Harriet Tubman was just one of those women that I love, that strength and that fear, that fierceness of, I don't care. I just can't afford to be scared. I just got to go for it. And so I learned, and I think, God just gave it to me, that spirit of entrepreneurship. And I think what we have to do, because I come from the hood. I always tell people that I'm proud to say I come from the streets. I come from, public assistance, AFDC, food stamps, Section 8. But I knew that wasn't who I was. I knew I wanted to do something different, but I had nobody to teach me that or to tell me that. I just had to go through it and learn, and I did. And what I do now, I think the strongest thing that I think we can do to get our kids off the plantation, because Memphis is a plantation city, whether we want to say it or believe it or not. Our children, when you look at the educational system that has just been voluntarily dismantled by our people, understand what that says. We don't want to take control of our children's education, so here I'm going to give it to you, and maybe you can do something better. We already know it's screwed up. So now we're putting our babies in it early. We told them, okay, we'll take your preschool, so now you can start to manipulate our children's brains even earlier at 3 years old. You can go on and start manipulating them and training them to be plantation workers. Because our kids now already aren't finishing high school, so you already screwed up those. Now you want to start real early, and we said, okay, we're going to let you do that. So what has happened, our kids now will grow up and be taught that, they don't tell our kids, go to school and get educated so that you can create jobs. They tell our kids, go to school, get educated so you can get a good job. And that's one thing. I have 3 kids. I have a 25-year-old, I have a 17-year-old, my baby who attends here is 10. And the one thing I chose to do when I came to Sister Joanne them last year, I refused to put my baby in public school after last year because she was struggling so bad. And I realized that the school system wasn't teaching, they were just throwing stuff at them, and you just got to try to grab it. So I started praying and I started searching for somewhere that I could take my child that would work with what I have in me, but also on the academic part, she could get there. So it became a partnership. I wanted her to have cultural education, and I also wanted to make sure that the spirit of entrepreneurship that was in me, I gave to my children. So my 25-year-old now is a barber and has been since he was 12. Because I used to speak this to him in his ear at night when he was sleeping. I started this when he was like 4. I spoke entrepreneurship to his spirit. I spoke a better life in his spirit. This was when he was asleep. And that's why I said, I try to tell our parents, I'm passionate about this because we can change that plantation mentality in our children with simple things. You don't let them tell your child, go to school to get a good job. That's not who we are. We are jobs. And that's what I taught my kids. My 17-year-old is going to school, and I don't even, maybe I'm wrong, I don't even push my kids to go to college. Because I feel like when you really understand what that means, now the system is designed to put your children in debt for that additional education when you can go get a skill and become a job and create more jobs through skill. So my thing is, if we want to change what we see, it can be done. It doesn't have to be hopeless. You may not have that hope for yourself, but for that child in your family, for that child down the street or next door. Lil Ray Ray ain't bad just because he came out bad. Lil Ray Ray bad because everything around him is bad. Children adapt to whatever they see. They bring it to school. I don't have to ask about what nobody mom and daddy did. A 3-year-old gonna come to school and tell me, my daddy last night, when they do kids play, he gonna pick up something and make it a cigarette. And then he gonna tell you, my dad smoked fun cigarettes. I know what a fun cigarette is. Or he gonna tell me, my dad and mom got to fight, and my mom put my dad in jail last night. See, this is environmental. So if all of us are here and we really mean what we say, and we ask the question, if Harriet came, what would we do? I would leave, yes. I would leave. And You know, would it make me a bad mother? Because I love what you said when you said I would have to separate myself from my son because I feel like he would snitch on me. I would have to leave some people that I mean, really, I'm already ready to leave some of them because I understand that their mindset ain't where my mindset is. And I had somebody say this to me once before. Just because you my color don't make you my kind. And you know, you might be my color, but you ain't my kind. And if you know, my color don't mean I gotta hold you arm in arm. Because you might do something to me that'll destroy all of us. So sometimes we gotta cut loose the counsel. Sometimes we gotta cut loose that bad part so that one of us that can get out and go get the word out to reinforcement can come back. If that means I gotta leave my whole community, and I did that. I left South Memphis and I went into a better environment, but I did that so that I could stabilize myself. And then I came back with all of the goodies that I had made to come back and be a light in my neighborhood. I talk to my kids in the community about entrepreneurship. I don't have, you know, entrepreneurship is being candy labeled to me. Because in the hood, that's what you can understand. So I'm going to buy you a box of candy. I'll buy you a case of chips. And I'm going to let you see what you can make with them. And then you take that money, you go buy you some more supplies. That's flipping. But it means that we've got to understand the bigger picture. And that's, if Harry came with Ali, yeah, I'm out. I'm gone. But I'm going to go with intentions of going to see what I can get out there to bring back to the camp so that I could be with Harriet to come back and get those of us that I could. And that means being able to me, that's saying going back and coming back and being able to help reshape our babies and our children for our tomorrow because it's going to come, whether we like it or not. And if our future ain't right, what we going to be? We ain't going to be able to do it for ourselves always. That's my point.
I say.
I just want to make a quick clarification about my statement about hope, not in defense. Because I said stand on it, not in opposition to what you said. Two words that I erased were should and hope because they don't exist. That's what the reality of them, they don't exist. So I just rather do it. So I ain't gonna stand around and hope that you get off my foot. I'm gonna get you up off my foot. I ain't gonna stand around and hope for some money. I'm going to make some money. I ain't gonna stand around and wish and hope and beg and hold hands and sing "We Shall Overcome." I ain't gonna hope that nobody give me my rights. I was born with rights of being a human on this planet. That's what I meant by that. Because I know a lot of people sell hope. All you gotta do is go down the street on Sunday, the day club. They're gonna sell you some hope. I ain't buying it. So I'd rather just do it. It was like, I don't have a dream, I have a reality. And I just want to clarify.
What came up for me apparently came what I go. When I think about both sets of my grandparents, one of my grandparents was out 6 or 7. The walking man would come and do their little trade, and he would bring his granddaughter with him. She was about my age or a little younger. And we would play. And I said, yeah. And my grandmother looked at me like, what did you say? That's Miss So-and-so. What? This was Miss So-and-so that she wanted me to call this little girl. Yeah, I would leave. Because this little girl's supposed to be Miss somebody. Well, I left and went home. I got my ass beat a few times for that because I couldn't call her Miss somebody. And my second set of grandparents, my grandmother was 86 years old. And they farmed a plantation all their life. I remember Miss Washington up the street there and go to Miss Wright's back door because she couldn't go to the front door. And they wanted one of her grandsons to do something, raise the hogs or something. He was going to pay him for it. And he refused to do it. Said, well, if you don't do this, they got to go. They done farmed this land all their lives. He took them home with him because he refused to do it. So if Harriet came, yeah, I would go. And I know I would leave a whole lot of people behind. And one thing, and then another thing, looking at where I am now, I don't know, because I have a lot of blocks there too.
So I'm glad you said it, Brian. That's a good shift, because I was sitting here thinking, listening to people talk, and several times in several ways you said there are many different plantations. So work, school, church, family of origin, community, neighborhood, and any dysfunctional relationships, anything else that I can create and then be enslaved to can be a plantation. So we are here at an Inward Journey open house, and all of us are here, and it's not by accident to our guests that you're here. You have either talked with someone that is a part of Inward Journey and you have a personal invitation, or you have read or been part of a discussion that we have about topics like this in another class or on Facebook or some sort of medium. And something that was said or told you or talked about resonated with you, and you may not know how or why. So I would like to shift the conversation a little, and let's make a correlation. So if we're talking about back on the plantation in other times, if Harriet Tubman came to physically steal people to their freedom, I'm going to make a correlation that Inward Journey Harriet is coming, and it's Inward Journey, and we want to offer an escape from your mental plantation or the plantation that you've created in your life. So what I would like is for some of the Inward Journey members who have spoke maybe to talk about how Inward Journey assisted them with that and what made them even decide to go when the call came for them. Because this is what this process is about tonight. We're putting out a call.
My name is Larry. We call me Two Farms Dad. I'm the first ignition.
Speak louder, Larry.
I'm the first ignition from Inward Journey on our first weekend in down in Chihuahua.
You straight?
I can't remember, it was about 20 years ago. I had a real bad cocaine problem that I dealt with. I married a preacher's daughter who ran off with over $173,000 and everything in the house. I wasn't going to smoke dope because I was going to kill myself. There's some real strong men that was in a 12-step program came and got me. You see, I'm one of them fools that when I get angry, I ain't scared of nothing and nobody. Nobody. You see, I'm one of them niggas that they sent from Melrose to Bellevue, from one plantation to another, to them white folks that down in Lamar Terrace, them poor white trash ass white folks who were waiting on our ass with sticks, and one policeman was in the street. And I found out at an early time is if you stand back to back and post them up, you know, me and a guy named Lee Elster backed off about 30 of them in the middle of the street. And I didn't know the biggest one I picked out was one of the Tillman brothers. So I found out I've been having a fool's courage all my life. These men came and got me and took me to a place to where I didn't have any pollution. All that other garbage, that gobbledygook junk was in my head, like TVs and cell phones and radios and all that other stuff. And something happened. You hear that old spirituals talking about, Lord, I know I've been changed. The angels, well, Lord, I know I've been changed, and the Fonte warrior done signed my name. And I've been here ever since. And I've been trying to steal your children, too. Yes, I have. I grew up in Annisdale on Seattle Street. My first address was 974 Seattle Street in the rear. on the corner of Seattle Street and Felix. Mother was the acute alcoholic. I'm the oldest of 7 kids. I've been beat down, talked about, spit on, and name drugged through the mud ever since I've been in this world. And every time I go to get somebody's child from the neighborhood that I grew up in and pay their way to go through this right here and stuff, they go through it and get a good feeling. But when I go back to get them to train them, guess what? It ain't the children that's the problem, it's the grown-ups that are stuck right there in that box. They don't see nothing but their brothers and sisters walking down the street with their pants hanging off their ass. Somebody sitting over here shooting dice. My oldest brother ain't got no education with them knucklehead tattoos across his neck, and women with tattoos on their damn neck is walking up and down the damn street. I'm trying to save them to get them away from that stuff. So you can't save nobody. Well, fool, you stay in welfare all your life. I understand that. Get your free money. But don't hold your children there. I'm not very good at math. But I know how to count bullets. And I've been on this path for a long time. And I got a mission in life, is to save a child. To make sure they don't go through the same garbage and the gobbledygook and junk that I went through. I read and studied just about every book I can put my hands on. And I made a lot of mistakes by sacrificing and doing stuff in my life to help other folks. That's why my mouth looks like it does now, because I ain't been taking care of myself and trying to take care of everybody else. They call it martyrdom. About 2 years ago in Gainesville, Georgia, we left here on a mission. And I took a different look at myself from a different perspective, from something from my past. And I saw something about myself that I really didn't like, and I've been trying to change. And so far, I've been doing something holding myself accountable, because 2 things that we deal with in this organization is accountability and integrity. And if you think I can get away with some stuff by trying to be slick and sneaky stuff, my spirit won't let me get away with stuff, and other people in here are going to come me to my face and talk to me. It's painful sometimes, but it's joyful most of the time. But I guarantee you, it ain't so much that you need me, I need you. Because on that Sunday morning, that Sunday morning, look at all this out there, that Sunday morning, there's something that's different. Yeah, everybody see it? You see how many? Yeah, that's Sunday morning. Yeah. Freedom ain't free. I'll be there in front of you. And I guarantee you ain't nobody gonna fuck with you. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. I mean, that man right there that stood clean off the Klansman, that stood in some places that most men would cry and run. I ain't saying that I ain't scared of nothing, but I say I'm cunning and conniving enough to get you through something. And the white man taught me well. Yeah. I need to get me a hat that says, warning, dysfunctional veteran, medicated for your safety. So y'all come on and let's have some fun together. I say.
Well, my name is